After researching how the brain learns to read, I found 4 key characteristics that I really thought were significant. The first characteristic is that when we read, there are 3 neural systems that have to interact together. We receive cues from our auditory, visual, and information systems, and they collaborate to help us read words. For example, if we were reading the word cat, our auditory system would help us to see that the 3 letters in the word each make a different sound, and we're able to put those sounds together to read the word. Our visual system helps us to recognize the individual letters in the word, and then our information system gives us meaning so that we know what the word is. We know the meaning behind it. And then those 3 systems collaborate to help us read just that one word. The second characteristic I found was that the ability to read is not innate. Many children struggle to learn how to read because the task is just so huge. We asked children who are fluently speaking the English language and who have been speaking it for 5 to 6 years to all of a sudden connect what they speak to the letters on a page. And sometimes those letters don't even match the sounds that they know, and there are many exceptions to the rules that they learn early on as readers. The third characteristic is that the skills we need in order to read successfully are phonological awareness, phonemic awareness, alphabetic principle, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. Phonological awareness is just our knowledge that language can be divided. So it means that we know that sentences can be divided into words, and words can be divided to phonemes. Phonemic awareness means that we know that phonemes or individual sounds can be put together to create words. Alphabetic principle means that we recognize that the sounds that we know can be represented by letters. Vocabulary is knowing what words mean. Fluency is our ability to read accurately and with appropriate pacing and appropriate intonation. And comprehension is our ability to understand what we read. Parents can help develop these skills in their children by introducing them to books and literacy at home so that when they begin school, they will be ready to learn how to read. And the last characteristic that I found to be significant was that when we first learned to read, we experienced 3 stages. The first stage is where we recognize that there are words on a page. The second stage is when we're able to read words by breaking them apart into phonemes or sounds. And the third phase is when we're able to begin reading fluently. The reading program that's being discussed today is Level of Literacy Intervention, and it's also known as LLI. It was first published in 2014, and a more recent published date is 2017. It is published by the educational company Heinemann. LLI is used as an intervention for students performing below grade level in reading. These students meet in a small group of 3 to 6 students for 30 minutes a week, anywhere from 3 times a week to 5 times a week. Students who are performing the most significantly below grade level would meet 5 times a week for intervention. Teachers who use the program are taught that when a student makes a mistake in reading, they have used a cue to make the mistake. The 3 cues are based on meaning, visual, and syntax. This means that all of our neurosystems that monitor our reading are working together to help us read. So teachers can listen to a student, read, and assess their instructional needs based on the cues that they use most often. So if a student is reading a book and they might see the words on the page might say, I see a brown dog. The child might read, I see a black dog. Well, I see a black dog is correct as far as syntax goes, and as far as meaning goes, that would make sense. So they've used a meaning and a syntax cue to make the error. However, they're not using visual cues. Their visual neurosystem is not picking up on that cue, that instead of seeing a B and an L for black, they should be reading the B and the R, which also has to do with their auditory system. And so then the teacher from there can decide that the student needs more work with phonics and recognizing different sounds and words. LLI also helps to develop the critical skills students need in order to read successfully. In the lessons, there are times for phonics and working with words to develop phonics and alphabetical skills. And students also reread books with familiar and beloved characters to extend their reading comprehension and to also develop fluency. In my first year as a teacher, I was given an LLI kit to teach my students, and I saw tremendous growth with them. One standout student showed more than a year's worth of growth after being taught under the program. LLI definitely aligns with best brain practices for teaching children to read. It takes a balanced approach and considers the skills necessary to allow students to become accomplished readers.